Hey yo, what's decent? Yo, I got a crazy battle against my boy David. Yo, let's get it poppin', man. Yo, he's gonna lead out with a Azumarill. I respond with the Decidueye. This is perfect. I can catch whatever comes in with the Toxic, baby. And comes Land Shark, man. Alright, so bet. I'm gonna go for the Defog, thinking that he's gonna go for the rocks, right? Because I figured I could take like a Fire Blast or anything like that. But he's gonna go for the rocks, I go for the Defog, and then afterwards I go for the Roost as he attacks me, and then he switches out, and I Toxic whatever comes in. But it doesn't seem like none of that's even happening. It just seems like what's on my screen right now is this man getting min-max damage output, the Fire Fang, destroying the Decidueye. So I completely like wasted a Pokemon there. So now I bring in the Mets just to test to see if is this man like banded or scarfed or something. I don't think that was banded damage actually. It would confuse me a little bit because my Decidueye was more physically based than it is specially oriented. So I was like, let me just switch out and then switch back in with the Golisopod so I can set up those spikes. That's great, but what I don't want is a Azumarill coming because I have a sneaking suspicion that that is Z Belly Drum. Why would you not use that as opposed to using Citrus Ray, right? I guess. So now he goes for the Thunder Wave, and I actually really wasn't expecting that. I was expecting like the Moonblast and or the Psychic in that term. But that's okay. I'm able to set up the rocks. In comes Raikou. So the last thing I want is any damage to the Metagross because I have to keep Metagross healthy for his Azumarill specifically. So I'm going to switch out to Tyranitar just in case he goes to the Volt Switch. I was kind of hesitant too because, I mean, I know I get the Sandstream boost with the special defensive boost because Tyranitar is a rock Pokemon. I do have Pursuit on this, but I don't want to reveal that as of yet. I'm pretty sure there's going to be another time that this particular scenario will take place. I will make sure that happens in order to catch the Raikou. So in comes Tapu Bulu, right? And I am a variant of the Tyranitar. Now, for you guys that don't know what Tyranitar is, it's a variant of Tyranitar that was very, very popular back in Gen 4. Now, it has Substitute, which is what I just used. Substitute, Focus Punch, Dark Pulse, and Ice Beam. Mine has Ice Beam, Substitute, Focus Punch, but Pursuit. Pursuit is kind of a way to throw you off in case you aren't kind of like familiar with it. I tend to use Pursuit more so you can think of something else, and afterwards you see the Substitute, and as soon as you see the Substitute, you're like, crap, it's a Tyranitar. I thought he was going to do something completely different. Substitute was the last thing on my mind. Like I said, I do have Ice Beam, so why not just stay in and go for the Ice Beam? I didn't want him to leech Horn Leech, and then afterwards I'd be forced to switch out and then he'd get like a substitute. I wanted him to Horn Leech and then he'll be exposed to my attack, forcing a switch out. That's kind of what I wanted to happen, but now he plays my hand here. He's got the sub Leech Seed thing going on here, and I have to play around it. So I bring in Golisopod, and I figure this might be a time to set up actually a Spikes, but at the same time, this man also has a sub up. So you know, that could be quite annoying. As you guys did know, if you guys watched the previous battles that I did have, I had Sub-Seeding Executor, and that took like 4 Pokemon switching in and switching out in order to break that scenario. And that included things like along with Mach 2. You know, I was walling that as well. So this can be quite the tedious mod to break. So I think that my best bet is just to keep in Golisopod, set up the Spikes, and then afterwards so that I could just keep attacking with the Leech Life. And then that way his sub won't be, I think his sub won't be like broken, but then again he shows me Sword Stance. So now if I don't break the sub, well, that's good that he actually Sword Stance on that particular turn actually. So that means that if he attacks, he's exposed. So if Emergency Exit activates, I'll just go back out into Pheromosa. Pheromosa has a Poison Jab obviously, and I'll be able to kill the Tapu Bulu regardless of what percentage of HP he is at. So now I'm just going to continuously go for the Leech Life. It does not make sense. I know he's just going to try to play my hand here and probably just go for an attack. There goes my SIM card again. You know, I got to make a mental note to take that out when I am commentating. I don't really want to see that on my screen. But yeah, man. Now he goes to... And I'm thinking in my mind like, yo, I could have just like switched out, but I don't really want to switch out because Pheromosa is frail. You guys do know that, right? I got Metagross, which I really want to switch out into, which means that this man only has like 1 attack. What can he possibly do with 1 attack, you know? Maybe a superpower, you know, I don't even know. Maybe a Stone Edge, you never know. So I'm like, I really want to switch out, but I can't. I'm too afraid to switch out because I don't want anything else to take that damage. So I'm just going to keep on Leech Lifing to prevent him from having a sub up for the next Pokemon. It will be so bad if this man has +6 plus a sub up regardless of what offensive capabilities he does have. So he's just gonna finally go for the Horn Leech and finish this thing off. That is fine. Goes to part of this job. I have 2 layers of spikes as well as rocks. He has no defogger. I bring in this thing and I go for the poison jab. Now, I have to go for the poison jab because he's +6. I'm not playing around with that. So, I do that. In comes Chansey, right? I'm thinking this man has Necrozma on the back. So, I'm like, instead of going for the Focus Blast, yes, I do have Focus Blast over High Jump Kick this time around. Just this time around. Right? I'm going to keep it around for like 1 or 2 battles or something like that. So instead of doing that, I go for the U-turn predicting this, which is great. So now I can actually bring in the Mets. Now, this is a gamble here because he could just straight up go for Thunder Wave and then afterwards go for Moonlight, provided that he does have recovery on this particular set. So I take a gamble here, thinking that he was going to go for the Moonlight. Great, that's great. I'm able to set up the focus energy and I can destroy this thing with a crit Draco Meteor. Oh, no! Are you kidding me? There's literally no way I'm looking at that right now. No way! I knew that he was going to stay in, so I went for the Draco Meteor. I was supposed to go for the Hydro Pump. Now, the reason I went for the Hydro Pump this particular turn was because I was thinking about Azumarill. Azumarill is the biggest hidden creature that I got to worry about right now. So I'll go for the Hydro Pump, critical hit again. And I could just go for a Draco, I think, on this particular turn. But I switch up. Actually, I go for Fire Blast. Is what happened. And then now I go for the Draco Meteor. He was hoping to get up a nice little softball. Look, I see you, man. Yo, you ain't slick, man. Oh, man. So in comes Garchomp. Now, watch this. He goes for the Earthquake. I bet you. I knew it. I knew it. I knew it. Get out of here. Oh, man. I knew it, son. When I saw, I'm like, I know this man's gonna go for Earthquake. So in comes Raikou. Remember that situation that I was talking about earlier where I would have Tyranitar? Now, if he goes for Volt Switch, it doesn't kill. I went for Hydro Pump with that particular turn just in case he went out for the Azumarill. But I know it wouldn't kill. But even if it did kill, if he went for the Ice Beam, or rather not Ice Beam, Hidden Power Ice, I can now trap this thing and lock it out of the game. That is great. No more Raikou, no for me to worry about. Now I'm at the particular point in the battle where I know that this Necrozma does not have any attacking moves, so I can set up a substitute for the Azumarill. I know Azumarill might want to come in and go for the Belly Drum. I think the way Belly Drum works, is that it comes in, it has to have at least half HP in order to go for the Belly Drum, or it could work the opposite way where it doesn't even freaking matter and then he'll restore the HP and then cut it in half. So we're about to find out. I really don't even know. So I go for the Focus Punch on the switch out. Right, that's great. I'm able to knock it down under half, so I'm feeling like confident. I'm like, yo, he probably can't even go for the Belly Drum. But he actually does, so that means it works the opposite way around, which means it restores and then cuts in half, which is still alright because I can play around it. I could go for the Focus Punch, or so I thought. I get fully paralyzed, so I'm like, okay, it's still cool. You know, he has to take Sandstorm damage. I'm just going to take advantage of that this turn. Go for a secondary substitute, and then afterwards go for a Focus Punch. That doesn't even happen. And this Azumarill just gets off like scot-free, like no damage from the Focus Punch. I can just like finish it off with the Bullet Punch there from the Metagross afterwards, and then plus Raikou and Necrozma locked out of the game, so I don't really have to worry about it. But now I'm kind of forced to go for the Meteor Mash. He thought I had Bullet Punch, but I don't. Go for it, because I went for the Meteor Mash. This thing is a threat, and man, was that so upsetting right there. I missed Meteor Mash, and there's no way I can win this at this point. So, what you doing?